the PDF downloads of the African Dialogues, Volumes 1 and 2 are in the links below the description of this video. Charles: is anything that is based on controlling the mind stilling in order to live in the present now, an artificial means of dwelling in the ISSSNISS? Duane responds, it's part of it, and I understand, and we've all come through this, and yes, it makes sense to control your thoughts. We all go back and forth. We vacillate, and we also are the subject of our environment here. I feel it myself. I'm the effect of the environment too, and affected by it. We've all come through these things, and if the individual sees that this is an aid, they can experiment with it, and it's all fine. Everything is fine, but the basic idea of these teachings and paths is that you reach a point which is called nirvana, or the void, and that's the deep dark border. For the most part, the idea is that you've conquered the mind. There's a movie called Doctor Strange, which is very good, and it demonstrates an individual going through the process. For the most part, what happens when people get to this point, not everybody, but some of them, is the temptation to become either a white or black magician, because you've conquered the mind. You've learned to see how the mind works, and this is where the manipulators of the world see this. They've done experiments with people throughout the ages, and they see how this works, and this is what they use too. They use these different ideas and ideals, etc. There's many different ways to look at it. You see the mind like an apparatus, like an app on your phone. But it's still not the phone itself. The phone being your real awareness. The world's a busy place, so you can utilize these things, but it's not the ultimate, and that becomes the difference. You can utilize certain things to help you along. Many things do. Each person figures it out for themselves, and they are gently guided along. Again, what makes sense, but it isn't the ultimate. You're not just blank and wandering around with a blank mind. You can do this because you're really just a view. But also, while you're here, you can creatively do something. Many of these people go away. They go on a mountain top or a cave somewhere, and they kind of hide from life. But that's not the idea. The whole idea is to stand real. This is where you eventually recognize yourself as a free being of real light, and stand real with all the other beings, because that's real survival. You support others as they support you. Here in the personal self, this can be misconstrued, in that we're not here to support the world and save the world from itself, because people are making choices, just as we do here with the wonderful worldwide educators. Those people who have stepped up. We support each other. We share a reference to the real universes. That's the best we can do, because of how things are here. In the real universes, it's different. Here we have the bodies and the personal self to deal with. We have our personal life, etc. We have to deal with a lot of agitation all the time, and it's a tough place to survive. It's different here. It's really in the real awareness and the focus. These things are something that can be utilized, mind blanking, etc., but it's not the ultimate, because recognizing your real awareness, and especially the all is and the real universes, is really what life is about. Life is about itself, not what we think it's about. And when you learn to recognize what life is and stand real with that, then you have your real freedom, because you're standing with other free beings of real light that's beyond all the 5 bodies. To recognize that is huge. But in the meantime, people play with ideas here, thinking they have something, but for the most part, you just grow old and pass over to the astral worlds. You have certain ideas, and that's basically where you are, because you're self-convinced, and you're going to have relationships and whatever, and you're just going to come back. You go through these things. They're not the ultimate. They are a reference to something that can possibly help you along, but it's going to go back and forth, to vacillate, to transform constantly, because of how the isness life is. I like looking at this every moment, and this is where I decide to do a picture with Ava, or write something. It's in the moment of what's taking place. We're not setting up a system here, or a program. That's not the idea, or a doctrine to go by. What we use are references, and they will transform into something better, or more so with the natural environment on all levels, you might say. And that's the best part. There are no restrictions. We come to thinking in terms of absolutes, just like most people think they are a physical body, and that's it, and that's an absolute. Many people think there's a God who is almighty and all-knowing, and that's also an absolute. Those are created ideas in creation, and there are no absolutes in creation. They only appear to be absolutes. When you self-convince yourself with these ideas, then you're stuck in them. The real universes are endless, and it's all alive. It's an all-aliveness, where we know that creation is a simulator. So, what takes place in creation is a particular, but it's not the true reality, but it can act as a reference. That's the whole idea, because we do need creation until we don't, and that's the fun part.